Hey everyone, welcome to the October Fragrance Awards. This is my opportunity to share with you many, but not all, of the fragrances that I wore over the past month and share my opinions through these made up award categories for perfume entertainment. I usually post this the very last day of the month, but this time I am posting it on the first of the month. Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the first of the month. Get up, get up, get up. Name that song in the comments. The reason I'm posting this on the first instead of yesterday is because I posted my Sephora fragrance recommendations video yesterday. So if you are a Sephora shopper and you're wondering what to add to cart, what's worth it in the fragrance world, check out that video. I'll link it below if you're interested. So before we get going, lipstick of the day is actually a discontinued, I think, lipstick. I'm not quite sure. This is from the YSL Slim lipstick line. It's the color 213. It's called Taboo Chili. Looks a lot like the other lipsticks I've been wearing recently in that it has that fall flare with maybe a brown, reddish, cinnamony type of color, but it looks even darker than usual because I also have the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil Extreme in the color Limitless Brown, which is a very, very dark brown like that. And I put it all over my lips as a base as well. So I hadn't intended for the look to be so vampy, but here we are. And I'm also trying out the new Givenchy limited edition 9.16. I don't even know if that's how you say it. Eyeshadow 9 pan. I have a video about that posted to, or will be posted to my other channel, Essential Veronica, if you're interested in makeup. So let's talk about the October fragrances, and we're going to start with the best for the season. So here in Central Virginia, the month of October has been on the cool end. We've had 50, 60-degree temps for most days, and sometimes it'll go up into the 70s. And in the evenings, it's been cooler, like straight up in the 50s, and sometimes has dipped down into the 40s. So I like a cozier leaning fragrance for this kind of weather. Maybe not super heavy, but leaning in that direction, like we're heading into the colder part of the year. And so I'm choosing Phlur's Somebody Would. This is a lovely amber sandalwood combination. It's also sort of musky. It's warm, it's cozy, enveloping. Feels like a warm blanket with a little bit of a woody edge to it. Actually, you know what this just gave me? I can't even believe I didn't make this association before. If you have tried Stash from Sarah Jessica Parker and you were looking for something in that same neighborhood, perhaps not quite as spicy as that, this might give you sort of like a cousin vibe to Stash, which is a beautiful, beautiful woody, spicy, a little bit cologne-y, incensey kind of fragrance. This isn't incensey. It's on the this one, Somebody Would, is on the woody, warm side. It's musky, it's warm, it is cozy. It's also very non-imposing, and I think sort of one of these universally likable woody scents. Fairly unisex, but soft and cozy enough to be easily worn by ladies as well if you're not into unisex fragrances. Give this one a go. Nicely lasting, very sort of soft on the skin. It was an easy wear. Then in the everyday category, this is something that's an easy reach. You don't have to think about it. It's going to smell nice and simple, not overpowering, doesn't invade anybody else's space. Easy peasy. So I'm going with a newer one to my collection, Lumiere Blanche from Olfactive Studio. This is already looking milky, like the fragrance inside, which I think is interesting. It has a little bit of a milky undertone too. Not that I'm implying that the coloration here has anything to do with milk being added. I'm just saying it has a little bit of a milky undertone. And this is another woody fragrance that has more spices in it. So it reminds me a lot of general fall spices. I'll share the notes in just a minute. But what I really appreciate about this fragrance is that it is very delicate and light and easy on the skin. It like hovers over your skin without creating this cloud of scent around you. It's almost like a second skin out of the shower, easygoing type of deal. So some of the notes here: cardamom, cinnamon, iris, almond milk. Sandalwood is prominent in my opinion. There are white musks. So I would consider this a slightly spicy, milky, woody fragrance. To me, this stays like a beautiful sandalwood, like a milky sandalwood on the dry down. I really, really love the opening and mid of this where you smell some of those fall spices, but ever so lightly. It's almost as though you catch a waft on the wind out of a fall bakery. This doesn't smell gourmand at all, but imagine that bakery has been using fall spices like your cinnamon, anise, maybe nutmeg and those kinds of things to create baked goods. And there's a sort of slight waft in the air to indicate that there's maybe a bakery around the corner that you want to check out, and you're wearing a sandalwood fragrance. So the two things are mixing. There's also, like I said, this ever so slightly milky, sort of soft, musky undertone to this fragrance that I think makes it super easygoing. So I really enjoyed this. Not the longest lasting. It's very easy. So if you're like the kind of person that wants to switch out fragrances during the day, maybe spray this on in the morning, and then, by lunchtime you might be ready for a heavier woody scent or some other scent that might complement this that you could spray right over it and just go on with your day. So that's Lumiere Blanche. I really enjoyed that. In the category of special occasion, I've been raving about this fragrance for years now. It is in the affordable category in that you can find it on deep discount. In fact, I will link all of these fragrances as always down in the description box and try to remember to put it in the pinned comment. But you can find this one for a steal sometimes, depending on the market at that time. And it is one of the most glorious aromatic vanillas ever. Like it is so beautiful and irresistible. And it is Lalique Le Parfum. This rivals any of the prominent vanillas on the market that everyone else is raving about that are just in like that sophisticated special occasion kind of category. This is gorgeous. The only complaint I might have about this is it isn't enormously long lasting. But then again, so is the case with a lot of the competitors for this on the market. The only complaint, if I had one about this fragrance, is that I wish it lasted even longer. It's okay, you get like a half a day's wear out of this. But if you have a special occasion in the evening, like a dinner or a party or something to that effect, you're going out to a performance, for example, this is gorgeous. And it is projecting yet soft at the same time and non-imposing to anyone around you. This isn't cloying or suffocating. It's an aromatic vanilla. So there's a prominent bay leaf note, which is interesting. And if you just read it in the note structure, you might think bay leaf, like what is that? But it lends just a super interesting aspect to it. In fact, if I smelled this and didn't know that that was a note, I wouldn't tell you that this is an aromatic vanilla. But there's vanilla, there's jasmine, tonka bean, and sandalwood in the base. This has a soft, powdery aspect. The powderiness is a little bit denser than you might get in other fragrances. So it's not sort of a baby powder effect. It's a very mature, dense powderiness. Even takes on like a creamy facet. The vanilla is gorgeous, non imposing, soft, smooth, caressing, even. So, all in all, a soft, aromatic, nearly creamy, dense, powdery vanilla. I mean, the powderiness is the least of the features here. It's almost like an accompanying aspect to the vanilla and the aromatics here. It's gorgeous and it's super sophisticated. This could also be in the category of like Hollywood glam. I don't think I have something in that category for this session. So let's just also call this the Hollywood glam fragrance. Glamorous, special occasion, really beautiful and unique. I don't have anything else that smells like this at all. Lalique Le Parfum, just freaking fantastic. For the sexiest fragrance that I wore in October, there were a few contenders, but I'm going to give it to Black Opium over Red. I really like this bottle. I don't know if it's showing up here. Let me put it. Oh, there you go. So you can see that it has like a cherry reddish, dark red, scarlet tint to it, and it's see-through. This is gorgeous. Of course, you have to like the Black Opium DNA because I feel like this is Black Opium maybe sweetened up with a cherry note added into it. The cherry is not long lasting throughout the fragrance. You get it in the opening fairly prominently, and it's like a candied cherry. There's tart cherries, there's sour cherry. This is a very sweet, sort of candied, perfumey cherry. Alongside the heavy vanilla that you would get in normal black opium and whatever other florals they put in the original black opium, you will smell all of that here. It's very warm, inviting. It's like a warm hug from a very voluptuous, sexy woman that knows how her feminine wiles affect people, if you will. The cherry does sort of take a back seat after a while, and you are left with the black opium DNA, maybe a little bit sweetened and darkened up. So, black opium does have a coffee note. I can't say I pick up a prominent, distinct coffee note, except to say that there's some depth to the fragrance that I can't attribute to anything else, perhaps other than a coffee note, but I don't smell coffee per se, if you will. Regardless, very sexy, appealing fragrance, super cozy, and very cool and cold weather friendly. Like you're going, what? Come on, Cap, get on there properly. There we go. You're gonna smell alluring and inviting, and people are gonna want to come in and sniff you and give you a hug with black opium over red. Very sexy. And then in the category of biggest surprise, I don't have my hands on a full bottle yet, but it is, and I've been raving about this, so forgive me for maybe the fourth video that I've mentioned this at this point, from Chris Collins, Forbidden Apple Croque Moi, which I understand from a subscriber means bite me. So Forbidden Apple, bite me. And the surprise here is that I have tried other Chris Collins fragrances in the past. I've enjoyed them all. I find the line overall to be fairly unisex and in some cases leaning to the masculine side, at least the ones that I've tried. So I was rather surprised when I tried Forbidden Apple and it felt very feminine to me. And I like that. I'm in a feminine era. I love my unisex scents and I have a number of fragrances that lean to the masculine side that I adore as well. Like I like lots of different kinds of fragrances, but my personal preference these days, if you will, is to smell more feminine, soft, girly, pretty, sweet, all of that. Maybe not necessarily sweet. But anyway, we can talk about that preference another time. The point that I'm getting at is that this fragrance really hit a lot of marks for me. So you get a red, like a sweet red apple opening here. The other thing that I really admire about the opening of this fragrance is that it has this wet Play-Doh kind of accord. I don't know what's giving it that. It might be a combination of something like tonka bean, vanilla, and perhaps something else that does that. But I love the smell of a freshly opened can of Play-Doh. Oh my gosh, it brings back childhood memories. It makes my heart happy. I don't know, it just sort of hits like the pleasure centers in my mind in a happy way. It makes me feel youthful, joyful, like I'm in my own little world as a little girl playing with Play-Doh. And so the apple note and the wet and it's wet Play-Doh. We're not talking about dried out nasty Play-Doh that needs to be thrown away. We're talking about a brand new fresh can that you just cracked open. The combination of the apple and the Play-Doh just really does it for me in the opening. That sort of starts to fade away after a while, and the deep, like middle experience and deep dry down of the fragrance end up being a beautiful woody vanilla. I should also say there's a spiciness to this fragrance. It's not super pronounced, but there are some sort of fall spices. Overall, the effect of the fragrance is warm, enveloping, cozy. There's a nostalgia associated with it. And I really like it to the point where by the time I'm posting this video, I probably have ordered a bottle because the Sephora sale started yesterday. So I got my little 20% off of my full Chris Collins bottle. So I was surprised in a very good way by this fragrance. So then in the category of favorite blind buy, I almost made this my biggest surprise as well because it did surprise me again. So this is from Tiziana Terenzi and this is DELOX. And let me talk about why it almost made the surprise and why it is my favorite blind buy. I reached for this because I haven't reached for it in a long time. I said, let me, give this one a spin. I haven't worn it in quite a bit. And when I sprayed it back on, I said to myself, oh my gosh, I'm like remembering why I adored this so much. And it's really interesting with Deluxe because it was super popular on YouTube, maybe back in like 2020 when I first started my channel. I saw a lot of people talking about this. And I remember when I first purchased it, I liked it okay. Like it was fine. I enjoyed wearing it, but it took me a while to fall for it, like fall in love with it and see why people raved about it. And so I wore it for a while and it's been sort of sitting on my shelf and hasn't been reached for in a bit. Reached for it again, smelled it, and thought, I really need to be reaching for you a lot more. This is one of those fragrances that scratches several itches. It can be special occasion. It can be everyday glam. It can be a date night fragrance. It can be your sophisticated scent. It can be a warm and cozy scent. It can be a comforting scent. It can be highly feminine, lots of things, a very romantic fragrance. The key notes are rose, coffee, vanilla, and I feel like there's another floral I don't remember, but that's sort of what stands out to me at this point. I wanna say there's sandalwood in the fragrance as well, but just sort of sniffing here and enjoying the scent experience when I sprayed this on, this is like a smooth operator. You know, the Sade song, Smooth Operator? This is a smooth, smooth operator. It's got this very elegant, sort of creamy facet to it, a perfumey, artistic coffee background. Again, like with Black Opium, Over Red, or any of the Black Opiums, the coffee is not pronounced, but it does add depth, intrigue, a little mystery to this, and this beautiful vanillic, maybe even musky, woody base that is absolutely exquisite, lasts a long time. It just sort of dances this elegant ballerina dance on your skin. This is Misty Copeland dancing on your skin. Just absolutely beautiful, Deluxe. So moving along to not a safe blind buy. Oh my gosh, I really had high hopes for this fragrance. A lot of you recommended this to me, and I appreciate that because listen, I recommend things to you and sometimes they work out for you and sometimes they don't. And that's just the way that it goes in perfume land, right? So this is Shalimar L'Essence is not a safe blind buy, and here's why. This, to me, my experience with it smells very similar to the original Shalimar. And I've shared that it's a fragrance from the past for me. My mom wore it. I had aunts that wore it. I had teachers that wore Shalimar, and I enjoyed it on them. It's a fragrance that reminds me of a warm hug from a matriarch kind of figure. And so the hype around this newer one, that's for the 100th anniversary of the release of the original Shalimar, is that it was supposed to be a bit of a more modernized version and maybe not have the animalic touches that the original Shalimar has. If you have tried the original Shalimar, you know that it has a fairly leathery, maybe other animalic touches as well, kind of base to it that makes it challenging for me to wear. I've owned an original formulation style, I mean, because it's been reformulated a number of times, but close enough, and I had to sell that one. I could not wear it because it was just a little much for me. Like the fragrance wore me instead of me wearing it. Unfortunately, when I sprayed this on, I had the exact same memory of that one. It wasn't different enough for me. So, what I've heard from other people that love this is that the vanilla is more prominent here and the animalics are toned down. Yes, I found the vanilla a little bit more prominent, but I did not find the animalics that toned down, like to the point where I felt comfortable wearing this. Is it a gorgeous fragrance? Absolutely. I still think the original Shalimar is gorgeous, even though I can't wear it. That's okay. Just because I can't wear it doesn't mean I can't appreciate it, that I don't see the beauty and the artistry of it. I do. It's just challenging for me to wear. And so, unfortunately, this one is too similar for me to enjoy this. So, and I've decided I think I'm going to post this on Mercari. And so, maybe by the end of today, when you're seeing this video for the first time, it'll be up on Mercari. It takes me a bit of a while to post things on there. Beautiful fragrance, a little too strong for me, a little too potent, a little too powdery, too many of the animalic touches of the original one. So I don't get the leather, but I do get the other sort of animalic touches. And that's it. And I know a lot of people love it, and that's okay. I'm glad you love it. This didn't work out for me. So, and I bring that up to say that it's in the not a safe blind buy category because we are all susceptible to opinions. I mean, you're watching me for my opinions. That's just kind of how it works. And so I wouldn't want somebody to purchase that thinking that it was dramatically different than the original and then be surprised like I was. So that's all. I don't have one in the overhyped category. I can't even say that Shalimar L'Essence is overhyped because it's beautiful. I just can't wear it. So I don't have that. I'm going to skip over the overhyped category and go to the hidden gem. Maybe it's not that hidden, but I feel like people may want to know more about this, especially those of you that like spicy, sexy, mysterious vanillas. You like them a little smoky, a little spicy. You're into the whole baby cat sort of vanilla aesthetic. And it's the brand in general that I think is a bit of a hidden gem, although some of you already know about it. But in the land of social media, this brand doesn't get the hype it deserves. So this is Laboratorio Olfativo. What a name. That's a mouthful. And the fragrance is Vanagloria. And so I forget the details. I'm too lazy to look it up, but I think it's the same perfumer for Vanagloria as for Baby Cat. But they're very, very similar. This has been compared a lot. I have to tell you, the day that I wore this, and I've worn this quite a few times, as you can see from the dent in here. You don't need a lot of this. It's a fairly powerful fragrance. I wore quite a bit the day that I put this on. Went downstairs, and my husband followed me into my office, and he goes, "Is that you?" I said, "It depends. What are you smelling?" He said, I'm not sure what I'm smelling, but it smells like medicine and cleaning fluid." And I was like, "I guess that's me. I'm wearing Vanagloria." It doesn't smell anything like that to me, but that was his sort of interpretation of what he was smelling. To me, this is a deeper, drier, has a very dry texture, smoky vanilla fragrance. It's like smoky, incensey touches. It's spicy, like maybe peppery and some other spices. And it's vanillic and maybe even woody as well. It's drier in the sense that, like, if you have tried the black opium fragrances, those have this creamy base to them. They're heavier, they're thicker. They have like this, I don't know, sumptuous creaminess to them. This feels very dry. There isn't that like thick, creamy or oily sort of scent texture that you get in other fragrances. And I kind of like that about this. So I find this to be sophisticated and sexy myself, even though my husband disagreed. And I think it's quite a gem. And it does smell similar to Baby Cat from what I remember. I haven't smelled Baby Cat in a long time, but it's lovely. Vanagloria. The house is worth checking out in general if you wanna get look, if you're the kind of person that enjoys discovering fragrances, even if you're not intending to buy, a discovery set from Laboratorio Olfattivo would be a fun one to explore because 'cause they've got some really nice creations. Then, in the category of worth hunting down, unfortunately, this line of fragrances is discontinued. And it's a crying shame because these are so beautiful. Most of the ones that I've tried from the Maison Lancome line, I have loved. I own a lot of them and enjoy a lot of them and find them to be really unique, worthwhile creations that are worth every single penny of what they were charged for when they were available on the market. So this is Iris Dragee. Hope I pronounced that right. I always say it in a way that somebody corrects me, but name is up on the screen. Friends, if you're an iris lover, and only if you're an iris lover, you may want to hunt this one down. This is another one that I also thought about putting in the surprise category, biggest surprise, because when I sprayed it again the day that I wore it, I was just reminded of what a unique scent this is. It is very milky, irisy, almost like you have a cotton ball. The texture and feeling of a cotton ball is what the texture experience, scent experience of this is, with this gorgeous thick iris, and it's almost like orris root iris. You know, you have your iris, which is the floral component, and then the orris root is orris is the root of the iris plant, and it tends to be more either like creamy, powdery, or just powdery overall with some iris touches to it and a little bit earthier. I just love the thickness of the iris and the fragrance, yet juxtaposed against that cotton ball kind of milky muskiness here. It's quite dreamy, and it's like nothing that I've smelled before. I had to look up the notes to sort of remind myself. I wanted to just share my experience with you. Iris flower, almond, sugar, orange blossom, freesia. In the base, vanilla, orris, there's the orris, white musk, and iso e super. Bergamot and pink pepper at the top, I don't get that, but it's sort of this creamy, dreamy, yet light and fluffy, and I'm glad I looked and saw almond and sugar because there is this sort of, like, subtle sweetness to this that I think is fantastic. One that you do have to be in the mood for, but if you're an iris lover and you like a sort of cloud-like texture to your fragrances, this is a must try. So, worth hunting down. Then in the category of best bottle, I mean, there's a few that I could choose, but I went with Lolita Lempicka Le Parfum. Is this not fun? And for those of you that wore this, I think it came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. I don't remember. Does this not bring back great memories for you? It's in the shape of an apple. And then I love that in the stem of the apple is the atomizer, although that's also what makes me nervous because I always feel like I'm going to break it when I depress it. But this is primarily like a licorice note with vanilla, a little patchouli. There's other florals. I believe there's an ivy note, which is like gives it a little tiny bit of greenness, along with a floral nature. It's a very mysterious kind of note, a little spicy. It's like a fairy in the forest, a purple fairy in the forest sort of smell. Once upon a time, this was super popular, and I don't really hear people talking about it anymore. I don't know what year version this is. I apologize, but it is widely available now. So, anyway, fun fragrance, a little mysterious, great for fall. You do have to like licorice, and then there's also a star anise note. They're very similar to me in smell. And if you don't like those, I don't particularly love those, but I like the way that it works in here. That I feel like is a primary feature here, along with the vanilla, a little patchouli, and like this hint of spicy floral nature. So, a really fun fragrance and a fun bottle. And then the newer category that I've added because it's been an obsession of mine this past year to smell clean yet cozy. Maybe this isn't the best fragrance to put in this category, but of the ones that I wore in October, it reminded me of what I love about it, and it's both of those things. And it is Gentle Fluidity Gold. This is a fragrance that I went through a dupe of it. I think it's called Retro Flair from Alexandria Fragrances. Loved the dupe and knew that I had to have the original. So when I finished that bottle, I purchased the original. This is, I think juniper berries is the interesting note. So it has this little like slightly fruity, little touch, like a dash of fresh greenness in it. I believe there's citrus and then this really beautiful, soft, easygoing, warm yet clean vanilla base to it. It's both warm, cozy, and clean and sophisticated at the same time, and just such an easy wear. I forget what other notes are in here, but even has a touch of sweetness to it. It is a very easy reach. This is when you want to smell subtle but pretty and beautiful at the same time, and very easygoing yet sophisticated. I don't know, it does all of those things all at once in one fragrance. And easy reach, adore. Always know I'm gonna smell good in this fragrance. I'm gonna feel cozy. I'm gonna feel clean. I'm gonna feel sophisticated, and I'm gonna feel put together. Gentle Fluidity Gold. Then in the It Girl category for this season, I'm going to give it to the launch creation of a fellow creator here on YouTube. This is Proud Mary, the creation of Sea Chronicles. And this is the fragrance house is called Macedon Perfumes, which is a fragrance house that she launched along with a friend of hers. Anyway, this is her first creation, fresh out of the gate. That's her in the background with her picture on there. Anyhow, this is a fun fragrance. I really enjoyed it when I first tried it, and I enjoy it even more every time I've tried it. I've done at least a full day wear. I did an overnight wear, and I've done a lot of drive-by sniffing of this. It opens up fruity, sort of sweet, mellow, my opinion, softer. Other people talk about this being a little bit more projecting and pronounced. I feel like it's a softer, more intimate bubble, and I like it. The opening is pineapple, apple, dried fruits, and cardamom. I don't pick out any of that. I just pick out a lovely, fresh fruitiness that actually matches the fall season because it has like this warm background to it, almost like it has a little bit of spiciness. The mid, she calls out jasmine and tonka bean, and then the base, vanilla, spices, light woods, and she says a dash, just a dash of patchouli to add depth and rich, sensual quality. This is an exciting first release and a lovely scent. And so I wanted to give a shout out to Proud Mary in honor of her mother who got her into perfumes. So anyway, congratulations again to C. So again, the fragrance opens up sweet, fruity, cozy with a little bit of fall flair. As it settles down more, it becomes, I think, more unisex. It opens fairly feminine and then it becomes more unisex in the dry down with the woody facets coming in. And it almost smells like woody and musky in the dry down. And I think it works and it's nice. So I wanted to give a shout out to Sea Chronicles and share with you that I'm still enjoying Proud Mary quite a bit. So, in the category of rainy day fragrance, I like to reach for something that is warm and cozy and maybe has a little bit of brightness. Sometimes I reach for like a melancholy perfume like a Gris Charnel, but I reached for Akro Bake. So, this is in the category of sweet lemon vanilla gourmandy treat type of fragrances. This smells very much like a hot lemon bar that came out of the oven before you sprinkle it with the confection of sugar because this has sweetness, but it's not an overload of sweetness where you just want to bite your arm off because you smell so sweet. Not like that. You still get the tart, zingy, zesty brightness of a beautiful lemon note that's nicely done here, the sweetness from whatever sugary aspects there are, and then a soft, almost doughy vanilla base to this that I think is so fun. It lasts longer now than when I first purchased it. I'll probably get somewhere like 4 to 6 hours out of this fragrance before I need to re up on it. But I think it's one of the better and more subtle lemon vanilla sweet fragrances on the market. I've been appreciating this quite a bit. The other one that's been starting to sort of rival this for attention in that category has been the Kayali one in the yellow bottle. I can't remember what it's called, but like Capri Lemon or Lemon Capri in a bottle. The one that's yellow and was part of the travel collection that was shared a year ago, and then new bottles came out, like full bottles came out this year. But anyway, Acro Bake still has a place in my heart as a cozy, easy wear, sugary lemon vanilla perfume. In the most complimented category, and that's just in my house because I work from home and barely go anywhere. So I'm talking about my husband complimenting me. Yes, he followed me around the house yet again when I wore Sospiro il Padrino, which means the Godfather. So I want to sing the Godfather tune. Da, 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 da. This smells divine to me. This is one of those unisex gems that is bold and in charge. Like you got to feel like the godfather when you put this fragrance on, or the female version of that in my case, the godmother, madrina. Is that how you say godmother in Italian? Anyway, notes here. The top of this is supposed to be boozy. To me, it comes across fairly deep fruity, like fruit that is so over ripened that it's mega like sweet and deep dark berry juiciness. I kind of get that at the top because I know to smell for booziness. There's amaretto and rum. Yes, I picked that up too. But either way, it's this intoxicating, sweet, juicy opening. The rest of the fragrance is kind of a combination of amber, patchouli, vanilla, sandalwood experience. So there's woodiness, there's like a golden syrupiness to this, a deep, dark, slightly earthy vibe as well. And a lot of vanilla. So it has a lovely mix of feminine and masculine aspects, like a yin and yang type of fragrance all in one, and it's luxe. So I am not a big fan of the velvet bottles, but in this case, it works because it gives this feeling of like a luxe texture to this. And I feel like that's what the fragrance is like. This could have been a special occasion fragrance. It is nuclear, it projects, it lasts a very long time, and it's just got this put together boss babe, wealthy vibe to it and easily wearable by men or women. I think it has just a beautiful combination of aspects and is really, really quite a regal smelling scent. Divine, even. Beautiful. Love that. In my mood booster category, this is an easy reach fragrance. I wore it on a day that it was a little bit warmer and I wanted to just throw something on and run out of the house. This is Bare from Victoria's Secret, the original one. I have the flankers as well and love them. I think they are great. I really like this as a clean smelling everyday scent that has a touch of warmth to it, which is kind of weird because when you smell the fragrance, there's a cool aloofness to it. So I don't know why I associate warmth with this, but I do. Maybe it's because it is so easygoing. It reminds me of like happy, cheery young ladies. That's what it smells like to me. You know how when somebody is a young woman is freshly showered, she's got the smell of shampoo still in her hair. You know, maybe she spritzed on some kind of body spray that smells awesome on her. And she walks out, and her sillage between the smell of her shampoo and whatever spray she has on is just a happy smell. You're like, she smells so pretty and put together. That's what I think of when I wear Bare. There's a mandarin note. I believe the floral is violet. So that gives it that kind of cool, aloof almost like metallic floral nature. And then there's sandalwood in the base. And it amounts to just smelling clean, freshly shampooed, put together, happy, cheery smile. I love this. Great t shirt and jeans fragrance. And it just never does me wrong. I'm always happy and in a good mood when I put this on. It helps to boost the good mood. So then I want to share a low fragrance that I was a little surprised by, and then I'll share with you my top 3 picks of the month. And I should have a dedicated video up about this. If I don't already, I will. And it is Playmate from Mind Games. It came out with Check Please, which is one of my top fragrances that I'll talk about in a minute. So Mind Games has been releasing a pair like this, one in the lighter color and one in the darker color for a while. I think they've done maybe 4 or 5 rounds of this like paired up release. So for a deeper description, please go to my other video if it's posted already or when it posts. But the keynotes of called out here are water lily and musk. There are a lot more notes featured in the note structure, including some beautiful florals that I would normally just be completely enamored with. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of that in this fragrance. I'm hoping that it will mature more into that. Right now, it smells like a watery musk with like a touch of floral and a little bit of like a men's aftershave type of deal. I did wear it the whole day. I thought I smelled fine. I will wear it again. And I'd like to see if it deepens up and if those florals come through more, but it's a little bit masculine leaning. And I just don't feel that at the current fragrance experience that I'm getting when I wore it, and again here, that it's worth the commanding enormous price tag for this bottle. So yeah, that's why it's in the low category. I don't have a middle category, but I do want to talk about 3 amazing fragrances that I really enjoyed wearing. I don't normally put in any video more than 1 fragrance from a particular house, but I'm breaking that rule today. I did wear Black Opium Le Parfum. So I talked about Black Opium over red. This one, the Le Parfum version, is a vanilla exquisite balm. This is a very thick, luxurious, creamy vanilla fragrance. It's got lots of different kinds of vanillas in it. There is a beautiful, sophisticated floral. I forget what it is, if it's jasmine or something else, and it doesn't really matter. It's a round, beautiful, deep white floral that is very sexy. This could have been in the sexiest category as well. It is an absolutely gorgeous vanilla scent. Love to wear it. Very sophisticated, commanding without trying too hard. It's like the naturally gorgeous person. It's got just one of the most like decadent, opulent vanilla backgrounds to it. I mean, it is vanilla. It's vanilla on top of vanilla. It's got a little bit of that original Black Opium DNA, but just such a rich, and I mean rich in like the texture, not money, right? Rich smelling vanilla fragrance. Absolutely beautiful. If you haven't tried this, please do. There's no question in my mind that when I run out of this bottle, I would buy the big one because it is fantastic. Also in the top 3 of the month, another one that I describe differently every time because I perceive it differently every time. And it doesn't look like I've worn it much, but I have worn it a good handful of times now and just love it every single time. This is from Fragrance du Bois Voyage à Paris. So, I mean, in the end, this is a vanilla woody experience. There's a vanilla, oud, and oak in the base. So, vanilla and woods is your, primary experience here. This also has along the way, the fragrance journey, this beautiful, very soft, friendly, inviting, and subdued honey note that adds this sweetness, this depth, this thickness to the fragrance that is intoxicating. Other notes that stand out to me, rum, there's a little booziness, orange blossom, jasmine. So there is a floral aspect to this fragrance without me calling it a floral fragrance because I don't feel like it is. But I feel like the florals add a touch of femininity. The honey is just the most beautiful subdued honey, a little hint of booziness, and then you are left with this gorgeous vanilla woody fragrance. Another one that feels very opulent, very put together, warm yet structured. It reminds me of like a beautifully curated library, like a personal library in someone's home that has dark walls, beautiful, rich leather couches. The sunlight's coming through the window just so. Maybe there are heavy velvet drapes in there. And there's like this old money feel about the room and the way that it looks with its paneled walls and all of that. And somebody sitting on the couch in their finest Ralph Lauren riding gear. And they're wearing Voyage à Paris. They don't have to prove anything to anyone because they've got it all together. Life has been good to them. Very unisex scent. Some might find this a tad masculine leaning with the woodiness, the oaky, oody nature of the base, but I feel like the vanilla grounds it and gives it enough femininity to be very wearable. And I feel like I smell special when I have this fragrance on. It's beautiful. And then this one is the sister of Playmates. It came out together from Mind Games. It's called Check Please. I didn't say before, and I meant to say both of these fragrances were sent to me for review from So Avant Garde. So thank you to them. This one was a huge hit in my house. I won't get into a whole lot of detail because I have that dedicated video, but the keynotes that they want you to smell here, oak barrel and nougat. I also get this beautiful, happy apple note, this vanillic sweet nature. It reminds me a lot of the juiciness of Now and Later candy. Like if you had that as a kid, when it melts in your mouth, that beautiful like fruitiness that just brings you, like I said, the happy, joyous burst of fruity deliciousness. Then it almost has like this creamy, nutty, woody background. This is beautiful. This one rivals Il Padrino. Like this could be Il Padrino, the big brother or sister to Check Please. A little bit more playful with the fruity notes in Check Please. Il Padrino is a little bit more mature with the darker sort of berry and boozy aspect to it. But they remind me a lot of each other in the same kind of vibe. I would say Check Please. I always want to call it Checkmate, but there's a different fragrance called Checkmate. Check Please stays a little bit more joyful, playful, while still having that serious background. It's like this one has the big pedigree and it comes from old money, just like Voyage à Paris does. But this one decided to buck the family tradition and maybe be a bit of a prankster and maybe embarrasses its family from time to time because it's a little playful and fun. And the mom or dad have to correct this one and tell it to get back in line and stop like embarrassing the family or something. But it definitely has that pedigreed, really wealthy background as well. That sounds silly, but you can imagine the kind of playfulness of this. It is a fun fragrance, and I could see this being year round, even though it has a lot of base to it. Like it's got this beautiful, thick, woody, ambery base that makes it serious for the whole year. But those playful, fruity aspects, I think could easily play well into spring, early fall, maybe not the dead of summer because it is very strong, super long lasting, smells absolutely gorgeous in the air, leaves a wonderful scent trail and makes people wanna come in and smell it. There's a sweetness to it, a fruitiness, a playfulness, and it's got that serious vanilla, ambery, woody base to it that gives it a lot of presence and oomph. Fantastic fragrance. Gosh, I have kept you all long enough. If you're still with me, can you put a fall symbol down in the comments? You decide what that is. Thank you so much for hanging out. See you in the next video. Take care, friends.